Hi guys, I am Syrachime and I welcome you back to another episode of Pokemon SoulSilver. In the last episode, we had a lot of weird things happen that probably shouldn't have, statistically speaking, not the least of which was actually having our backs up against the wall and in a match we actually probably should have lost. But Slowpoke here proved to be the deciding factor. His bulk was just enough to take a super effective U-turn from a very powerful Scyther. We took that hit and were able to land the final blow and win our second badge as a result. And that was really all I was able to do before excitement got the better of me. So in this episode, we're going to go ahead and conclude our business that we have left here in Azalea Town, and then we're going to start making our way up to Goldenrod City. We got quite a bit to do in this episode, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Before we actually do anything else, we actually take a few steps, we will see, oh? Well, what on earth might be happening here? Well, as it turns out, that egg we have been carrying around is officially hatching. We have walked around just enough to make this thing hatch, so once we actually do so, we will see the cute and wonderful Pokemon that is Togepi. Haha, fantastic! Now, as this is a new Pokemon, I think now would be a pretty good time to give a good bio of Togepi. So, Togepi here. When it first hatches, it is a normal type Pokemon, but as it evolves, it will become a normal flying type. Now, Togepi is a really good Pokemon. It's got some really good stats, and it's just really well distributed. It's got a respectable HP, defense, and speed stat, along with a great special attack and special defense stat. In addition to having some really good stats all around, this Pokemon has access to a very versatile move pool, which it can be acquired both through leveling up and through TMs. So yeah, this is a really powerful Pokemon. So what's the catch with a Pokemon like this? Well, what really hurts Togepi is the fact that it cannot actually become fully evolved until after the Elite Four. Now you might be a little confused saying, or hearing me say that, but what really hurts Togepi is the fact that you need a Shiny Stone in order to evolve this Pokemon, and you are not able to obtain this until after you get the National Dex, which is an after-game thing after the Elite Four. And just outside of that, not having the ability to have a Togekiss, you are basically stuck with the subpar Togetic, a very subpar Pokemon that's not that powerful. Now, there is a workaround to this. If you do have another DS or somebody that can help you trade, you could trade over a Shiny Stone from another game and evolve your Togepi this way. Alternatively, you could just keep a Togepi in your party, deal with the subpar Pokemon until after the Elite Four, and then get it strong after that, but that's really a long and winding path, so I would not recommend using a Togepi on your team unless you have a way of getting a Shiny Stone. If you do, I highly recommend this Pokemon, but if you don't, I would say just bypass it. There are better normal flying types out there that you can get and actually use right now in the game. Alright, so that is Togepi. As much as I love it, I'm not going to give it a nickname or use it on my team myself. But, oh, now what, Professor? What did I tell you about calling me Professor Elm? What do you want, dude? Hey, Chime, this is great news. What's great news, dude? A Pokemon hatched from that egg. Dude, how could you possibly have known that? There's no way you could have known that a Pokemon hatched from this egg and called me at that exact same time unless you were spying on me. Oh, well, anyway, moving on. I knew that giving that egg to you, Chime, was the right thing to do. I just knew it. Yes, I'm so glad that you have so much faith in a random 10-year-old kid and that your age are so incompetent. I really don't know what to think about this. Well, in any case, you should come here and show me what kind of Pokemon it is. Dude, that's not going to happen for one of two reasons. First of all, I don't like you and want to have anything to do with you. And second of all, Barktown is a long ways away from here. I am not taking the long trek back, dude. So what do you have to say about that? You just hang up on me. Alright, I don't really care because I don't like talking to you anyway, so we're just going to go ahead and leave that as is. Okay, so now that we've got that out of the way, I guess we're going to go ahead and proceed on. But before we do, I actually have a couple of recommendations before you actually do anything. And that is, well, I would actually recommend that you actually go just outside this town and catch a Rattata or something else that can make good use of HMs, because you're going to need an HM coming up very soon, which is what we're going to get. And something that's not required, but something that kind of happened accidentally. When I was trying to catch a Rattata, I accidentally leveled up my Zubat to level 17, so yeah, it grew a level and it learned a new attack in the process. Just kind of wanted to show you guys this now so you don't get confused when things pop up a little bit later. But recommendations: grab a Rattata or something else that can learn HM moves, and in addition to that, you're going to want at least 5 to 10 repels. We have a long area coming up with a lot of Pokemon in it, and it would really help if you had repels. So I would recommend you do that, get a Pokemon that can learn HMs, and then outside of that, you are ready to go. So we're going to go ahead and get going now, and make our way towards the next area. But before we do, Exclamation mark! Well, if it isn't our old friend Richard. Tell me something. Is it true that Team Rocket has returned? You bet it is true, Richard, and I took them out all by myself. Haha, I am awesome. What? You beat them? Ha! Quit lying. Dude, that's offensive. I don't lie, I fib. There is a big difference. Are you serious? Yes, I'm serious. Anyway, and let's see how good you are. Alright, dude, I will do that. Let's do so in a Pokemon battle right here, right now. Alright, here is our second rival battle with our rival Richard, or whoever you named your rival. So Richard here is a little bit different from the first time we battled him. He now has 3 Pokemon as a result. As he is kind of a boss battle, I'm going to go ahead and identify what he has. So his first Pokemon, level 14, is a Ghastly with the moves Lick, Spite, Mean Look, and Curse. I realize that started with a Slowpoke is probably not the best move, considering that, well, Ghastly is a Ghost type and Psychic types are weak to Ghost types. But as this Pokemon only knows Lick, it's really not that threatening to my Slowpoke. He can take physical hits very well, and this is a special attacking Pokemon anyway. So yeah, you can do the math, and, well, there's another benefit. Ghastly being part Poison type was enough to feint to 1 confusion, so awesome. Pretty easy victory there. Alright, his second Pokemon will be his starter. If he has a Cyndaquil, it will be a Quilava, level 18, the moves Leer, Smokescreen, Ember, Quick Attack. If he has a Totodile, it will now be a Croconaut, level 18, with the moves Water Gun, Rage, Bite, and Scary Face. Sounds somewhat familiar for some reason. And finally, if he has a Chikorita, it will now be a Bayleaf at level 18 with the moves Poison Powder, Reflect, Synthesis, and Razor Leaf. Now against this Bayleaf, I'm actually going to do something a little bit different that's kind of counterintuitive, but there's a good reason for it. And that is because, well, I've done this battle before, and this Bayleaf is just an absolute stall machine. This thing likes to use Reflect, Poison Powder to wear you down, and Synthesis to recover, more or less just stalling you out. I'm going to hopefully take care of this Reflect thing by lowering this thing's defense a little bit, so it is less of a tanky Pokemon and will go down a little bit faster. This is just one of the things I hate about Bayleaf. In general, I really don't like stall tactics all that much. It is kind of annoying, you know, when you're doing your best to do all things offensively and you got this Pokemon that's just going to stall you out and everything like that. So yeah, I really don't care for stall tactics. I do give him credit for using this Pokemon to its strengths, but it doesn't take away from the fact that I feel that, like, stall tactics are really cheap, and yeah, I really just don't like them. Even in competitive play, while I do admit that it's a viable strategy, I really just don't like stall tactics. I know it takes a lot of skill to use stall effectively, but like I said, I really just don't like stall tactics all that much. Maybe you guys feel a little bit different, though. I won't. Like I said, I don't take away from the fact that it's a pretty good strategy if you can pull it off, and it's really hard to do. But like I said, I just don't like stall tactics. But yeah, if you guys feel differently, I'd absolutely love to hear what you guys have to say in the comments. So if you have a different feeling about stall tactics, feel free to shout out in the comment. I'll read through it, see what you guys think, and I'd absolutely love to hear about your opinions and whatnot. I just absolutely hate those instances where, you know, you're in the middle of a battle and you could win this thing with 1 hit, but they're just stalling away. And there I took out Bayleaf before he could stall. Fantastic. Glad about that. Alright, so with this Bayleaf taken out there, and the Reflect wore off, I'm going to go ahead and swap out my Pokemon. His last Pokemon will be a Zubat. At level 16, the move Leech Life, Supersonic, Astonish, and Bite. So I'm going to go ahead and send out Bloke right now. Probably not the best thing in the world to do, but I will do it anyway, because Bloke could use a little bit of screen time, honestly. Alright, so he sends out that Zubat. I do believe I have the upper... Say, you've got a lot of nerve coming here. Dude, you're one to talk. How on earth could you say that to me when I'm just passing through, and you're the one following me? Well, it's true. I'm the one passing through, and he's the one getting mad at me because he's following me. That's ridiculous. There's no way I could lose to a wimp like you. Dude! Alright, this is personal. Bloke, finish this thing now. Thank you. You annoying person. Oh, I hate Richard sometimes. Alright, well that takes care of him, so we'll just leave it at that. Useless Pokemon. Listen, you only won because my Pokemon were weak. Yeah, some excuses are better than none. I hate the weak. So does that mean you hate yourself, Richard? Okay, moving on. Pokemon trainers. It doesn't matter who or what. I hate to see them hanging around. That goes for Team Rocket, too. They think they are big and tough as long as they are in a group. But get them alone and they're weak. I hate them all. Well, dude, I'm glad we have at least one thing in common here. You stay out of my way. You won't be an exception if you get in my way. Pretty tough talk for a guy that just lost to his rival. We'll go ahead and let that one slide because I've got better things to do than stroke his ego, so yeah. Alright. I took a little bit of damage in the process of that battle, so I'm going to go heal really quick and then we will proceed on shortly after that. So I will be right back. Alright, I am back with a full healed party, and I'm going to go ahead and leave Bloke out behind us this time, because it's been a long time since my starting Pokemon's been falling behind me, since the first 2 or 3 episodes, so we're going to go ahead and leave Bloke behind us as we make our way through the next area. We're going to go ahead and get started here and go the way we were trying to go before we were rudely interrupted by our rival, who lost, by the way. Alright, so once we exit this hallway here, I welcome you to the Ilex Forest. Now, this place is actually a really nice place, but at the same time kind of annoying for many reasons. Mostly because there's random Pokemon. I hate random encounters when you have to do a lot of them. But this thing is both home to one of my favorite and least favorite things in the game. I'll talk about my favorite in a little bit, but first things first, we have got some stuff here that is required that I absolutely hate. So getting on that, oh man, my boss is going to be angry. The Farfetch'd that cut trees for charcoal took off in the forest. Can you catch them for me? What? You want me to catch your Pokemon? Why? Do I really look like an errand boy that much? Anyway, Farfetch'd have sensitive ears. If you step on a branch, they'll face towards you. That's your chance. Sneak up from behind and catch them. Do you think you could do that? Well, I suppose I could. It's not like I have anything better to do, like, oh, I don't know, get to the next town and earn the next badge? Did you ever think about that I might have some more important things to do? Apparently not. Alright, well this does serve a purpose, and this is really not that hard, but at the same time this is my least favorite thing in this entire game. What you're supposed to do is get these Farfetch'd to look forward like that, to notice you and face that direction, and then literally just as simple as that, make your way around the maze, sneak up behind the Farfetch'd, if you can call this sneaking, and then just catch them by pressing the A button. It's really not that hard, it's more time consuming than anything, which is why I really don't care for this part of the game. But it is required, so we'll do it for now. Wow, you found a Farfetch'd. Thank you. You're welcome. Can I go on my way now? But there is one more missing. Couldn't you have just told us that before you send us on the wild duck chase anyway? Oh, well, anyway, moving on. If you step on the branch, it'll face that way. Remember, yes, I do. Blah, blah, blah. Yes, we'll catch your Farfetch'd. Let's go. Alright, like I said, this is one of my least favorite things in this forest and in this game, but I guess I am. Ooh, item. Must get. But first, we must put up a repel, because I do not want to have random encounters before him. Alright, so anyways, I was saying before I was rudely interrupted, as I get this item. One of my favorite things about this forest is there's actually a shrine in here, which we'll look at in a little bit, which belongs to the guardian of this forest. And that guardian happens to actually be Celebi, spoiler alert. Can actually get it in this game. But I really do like Celebi. It's one of my, well, it's not one of my favorite Pokemon. I don't know where Celebi stands. It is a Pokemon that I really do like, but I just love the concept of Celebi. Time traveling, being a, guardian of this forest and whatnot. I just like the concept. I really do. So, yeah, it's one of my favorite things about this forest, even though it's, just a minor thing. Alright, so once we've caught both these Farfetch'd, you'll say, wow, you got both of them for me. Glad they're, hey, here, dude, so can I go on my way, please? Thank you so much. You're welcome. Can I please go on my way now? My boss's Pokemon won't obey me because I don't have any badges. That's just a sad story. Please let me go on my way. Phew, you saved me. Fine, I saved you. Can I please go now? Apparently not. Well, this just goes on and on forever. Ah, my Far and Fetch'd. Dude, you did not just seriously name your Pokemon Far and Fetch'd. That'd be like calling my Totodile Toto. Yeah, it's a crocodilian creature. Looks so much like a little dog from the Wizard of Oz. Well, anyway. You found them for us, kid? Without them, we wouldn't be able to cut trees for charcoal. Don't really care. Can I please go on my way? Thanks, kid. You're welcome. Now, how can I thank you? Oh, I don't know. You could let me go on my merry way? I know. Here, take this. Fine, I'll take your move, which is HM01. So here's our second HM, I do believe. It is nothing more than the move Cut. Has a low base power, not worth teaching to a Pokemon, which is why I suggested HM Slave. Pretty much you teach it to a Pokemon to clear small trees, which is what we need to clear this area, but you need the badge from Azalea Town to use it. Alright, now that we've got that out of the way, I'm going to go ahead and teach this thing to my Pokemon so I can be on my way. Oh, like I said, this is my least favorite part of this whole game. Alright, so while I am doing this, I can say that inside of the Ilex Forest, there are actually 2 new Pokemon you could find here. Now, looking over those 2 new Pokemon you could find while we actually go about doing things, the first Pokemon is the Grass Bug-type Pokemon Paris, found in both versions of the game throughout all of the time cycles. Now, Paris has a respectable attack stat, along with some respective defensive stats, And in addition to that, it's got access to a fairly versatile move pool both through leveling up and through TMs. This includes the move Spore, which is the only 100% sleep move in the entire game. And in addition to this, well, kind of on the flip side of things, what I should say, this Pokemon is kind of held back by the fact that it actually has a low speed stat in addition to a low HP stat. And speaking of a new Pokemon we find here, I'll attend to by that in a minute. So anyway, it has a low HP stat, which means this Pokemon is not quite as defensive as you would expect. And in addition to having a low HP stat, what also kind of hurts this Pokemon's defensive capabilities, it has a horrible typing. Paris' bug and grass typing gives it a lot of weaknesses, including 2 common 4 times weaknesses, which really hurts it in the long run. So because of its typing and its low subpar stats, I really don't recommend Paris at all. There are a lot of better grass and bug types out there. So because of that, I would recommend you just pass on Paris and look for something else if you want a grass type or a bug type, because there are better options out there. Now, the second Pokemon you can find in this forest is actually a Pokemon we've actually seen, but anyway, going over it, it is the grass poison type Pokemon Oddish, found in both versions of the game, only at night. Now, like Slowpoke, Oddish is a unique Pokemon in the fact that it actually has 2 different evolutions. So to really understand Oddish's potential, you have to look at the 2 evolutions individually. And looking at those, when you expose a Gloom to a Leaf Stone, it will become the grass poison type Pokemon Vileplume. Now, Vileplume has some respectable all-around stats. It's got a really good HP stat, well, a good HP stat along with a respectable defense stat, and a solid special attack stat. And in addition to that, this Pokemon is very potent in the sun. This thing has an ability which doubles its speed in the sun, and with access to moves like Solar Beam, which you can get early in this game, this Pokemon can actually become very dangerous very quickly. Now, unfortunately, what really hurts Vileplume is the fact that outside of the sun, it is actually not as potent as you'd expect. It has a low speed stat, and it really needs TMs in order to really function because of its rather barren move pool. In fact, it really only learns low base power, poison and grass type moves, which is why you need TMs to make it function. But even with those TMs, it still is kind of a hindrance and needs a lot of support in order to function. So yeah, there's a lot going with and against Vileplume, but it's a pretty good Pokemon overall. But the second form that Oddish can evolve into is kind of a bit, well, taking a look at that. The other form that Oddish could evolve into when exposed to a Sunstone is the grass-type Pokemon Bellossom. Now, a lot of the things you could say about Bellossom, you could say about Vileplume. They both have respectable stats all around, good HP stat, solid defense stat, and what really gets switched here is the special attack and special defense. More or less, Bellossom is the more bulky version of this Pokemon. So yeah, the stats are there, kind of similar, and just like Vileplume, this Pokemon is quite potent in the sun with a good ability that works very well in harsh sunlight. But on the flip side, outside of the sun, this Pokemon is slow and not quite as potent, and just like Vileplume, you really need TMs to make this thing function because it has an otherwise barren move pool. Now, Bellossom does have an additional weakness that Vileplume doesn't have, and that is actually the fact that it loses its poison typing. Losing the poison typing actually hurts more than helps because you're basically losing access to a stab move and you're gaining a couple of weaknesses as a result. So, because of that, if you are going to go for Oddish, which I do deem as a usable Pokemon, if you have the proper TMs to make it work, I would recommend that you go with the Vileplume over Bellossom, but both Pokemon have their uses depending on what you'd like to do with it. Okay, so that is Bellossom, and the reason I was kind of going on about it is because I would actually like to add an Oddish to my team. Yeah, it's kind of silly to say, but I would really like to add another Oddish, or add an Oddish to my team. I added one to my team back in Fire Red, and it proved to be a very good Pokemon. So I'd like to add it to my team, do something a little bit different with it this time than I did in Fire Red. I'm going to talk about that as we get going, but actually be revealed probably more sooner than later, so If I can catch this thing, I would absolutely love to do that. I'm actually looking for a female oddish, so this would be absolutely perfect if I could get it. But first things first, we actually have to catch it. It shouldn't be too hard of a task, so what do we got here? Do I have any Pokeballs? Yes, I do. I was afraid for a brief moment that I did not have any Pokeballs. Alright, can we catch this thing in one try? 1, 2, 3! Yeah! There we go! 4th member to the team! Now that we've caught it, we'll see the data added to the Pokédex. I'm not supposed to get that excited over a Pokemon, but I am happy, so we are going to do it. Alright, so Oddish here, if exposed to the moonlight, it starts to move. It roams far and wide at night to scatter its seeds. Don't really care about that. I had the Pokemon, and we are going to leave it at that. Haha. Alright, so would I like to give a nickname to the newly caught Oddish? Well, I would, but I would actually like your help with that. If you have some suggestions for a good female Oddish nickname, or if you have suggestions for a good female Oddish, I would absolutely love to read them in the comments. Feel free to post your suggestions down in the comments below. When I get to Goldenrod City, I will, if I find a nickname I like, I will give it that, give a shout out to the person that called it that, and we will go from there. So for the time being, I'm not going to give this Pokemon a nickname. And now that we've caught this thing, I'm going to throw up repels and just try to get out of here as quick as I can. I don't really like this forest. I don't really like forests in general. Oh, I hate nature. It's just evil and all around just not nice. I mean, really, if you have to take care of nature, cutting the grass and whatnot, that's just not fair. Nature doesn't even clean up after itself. That's why I hate it so much. So anyway, oh, what do we got here? Well, if it isn't our friend from Violet City. Been a long time since I've seen you, Kimono Girl. What are you doing down here? Kimono Girl, lost and all alone. Poor girl, lost in the dark Ilex Forest. Okay, it's probably not good to admit that, because who knows what kind of people might be in here, and did you ever stop to think, why did you even come in here? Did you even stop to think what people might do if they found you here? Well, anyway. What? You remembered me from Violet City? Kinda weird that you've read my mind, but yes, what are you doing all the way here when you were in Violet City last time I saw you? You must be imagining. What? I don't know, a lot of weird things happen at Violet City. Moving on. Anyway, will you show me how to get out of this forest? You want me to show you the way out? Okay, I'll be happy to, but I expect a hero's kiss in return. Will you give me a hero's kiss if I do this? Oh, well, whether I get one or not, I have a sense of conscience, I have a soft heart, so I will help you out. You will? Aren't you lost in this forest as well? What? Well, maybe my character is, but I'm not. How do you know how to get out of here? Well, I may have played this game before a few times. But anyway, Bloke, what are you doing? What? Wow, are you going to show me how to get out? What? Bloke! No! Don't show her how to get out! That's my hero kiss, not yours! You are such a smart Pokemon. No! Bloke! See you? No! Come back! He's a crazy Pokemon! Don't listen to him! You stupid Pokemon, that was supposed to be my hero kiss. How dare you go ahead of me and show her the way out? Aside from that, how do you even know how to get out? Oh, you traitorous Pokemon. Oh, I cannot even look at you right now. How dare you show her the way out? I was supposed to do that and get that hero kiss, you jerk. Alright, we're just gonna... I don't know what upsets me more, the fact that he knows how to get out or the fact that he showed her the way out. I did not tell you to show the thing out. You know what? You haven't even contributed to... Never mind. Ah, annoying Pokemon. Well, I don't know what to say, but we'll just leave it at that for now. Alright, once you come here, you have officially made it out of the Ilex Forest. And as much as I'd like to actually press on, the time is starting to get up there a little bit, so for the time being, we're going to go ahead and call things off here. I know this episode's kind of short and we didn't really do a lot, but I really don't want to proceed any further until I train up my new member of my team a little bit, so we can actually show it off in the next episode. So I'm going to go do that off screen, and next time in my Let's Play of Pokemon SoulSilver, we're going to make our way up towards Goldenrod City, take the final little route that is just before that, make it up there, and then explore the city shortly after that. So, until that time, I will catch you guys later.